guys, it's Reese, and today I'm going to give you 10 tips to taking better notes for this school year. Now, I've always been the type of person to handwrite my notes. I just find that it's easier for me to retain the information when I write them out myself. So if you're in the same boat and you're looking for a way to maybe spice up your notes or learn how to take more effective, better notes, then this video is for you. This video is going to cover more about how the notes look and are organized on the page and kind of the process of taking notes. But if you're looking for something that's more about how to take notes and how to add the content and the information onto the page, I can definitely make a video on that, so make sure to give this a thumbs up so I know to do that. Alright, otherwise, let's get started. So the first thing is kind of obvious, but it might sound a little bit weird, is to choose your paper. I mean, you probably are thinking all paper is the same, but you might have a preference to plain paper, lined paper, grid paper, whatever you like, go ahead and choose that. I personally like to keep all of my notes in one notebook per subject or class. This way they're all together, they're all organized, and I have it just for that one class. I really like these small little Muji notebooks because they're nice and compact and lightweight, and they have grid pages on the inside, which I prefer to write on, and I just like assigning one of these to each of my classes. If you end up using loose leaf, make sure to just put it in a binder or folder so that they are all together and you don't lose them. Next is to choose your writing utensils. Now, once again, this is kind of obvious, but you might have a preference to what you like to write with. For me personally, I find that when I write with pencil, I tend to get really sloppy and I smudge the paper a lot, so I like writing with a black pen. My personal favorite is the Bic Atlantis fine point pen. What I recommend on top of the normal pen or pencil that you're writing with is a thicker pen or marker. This way you can add maybe doodles or make something seem bold or stand out from the page. And some sort of colored writing utensil, whether that be a colored marker or pen or highlighter. I really like these Uni-Profis window highlighters, and I will leave all of the utensils that I'm mentioning in the description box linked below. You know that adding color onto your notes can really help them stand out and get the information into your head, so just pick something that you like to use, whether that be normal Crayola markers or highlighters. Number 3, when taking your notes and using color, kind of stick to one color per page or a color scheme. So when I start a new page of notes, I just like to choose a color, let's say blue, and then use my blue highlighter to go ahead and highlight all the vocab, the important information, and maybe I'll add another blue marker or highlighter that's a little bit of a different shade to just add a little bit of flair, a little bit of dynamic. But I like to stick to one color or a few shades of one color instead of going with like 5 different colors, because that can end up actually making your notes harder to read because there's so much going on. So kind of just keep it simple if you want to add the color. So I was over-explaining myself there, I'm sorry. Number 4 is to title your pages. Now this is important if you're keeping all of your notes together in a notebook, because when you're flipping through, you want to be able to find the page that you're looking for. Just add the main topic of the notes that you're writing about to the top of the page and make it bigger, bolder, stand out with a color or something. This way, you can easily find it and know what the whole entire page is typically going to discuss. Now, because the topic is probably going to be something really broad, you want to break up the rest of your notes with subtitles or subheaders. So just think when you're reading through a textbook, you have the main chapter with all the information, but it's broken into smaller pieces with a subtitle on top. You want to do the same thing with your notes so that when you start skimming through them, you can look for the main details and important information and then go in later to reading everything that's underneath them. You want to make the subtitles stand out a little bit more so they're easy to find, so I like to make them bold with the thicker pen or marker, add some sort of color, or maybe add a line to like physically divide the page. Anything that's just going to break the page into chunks of information so that it's easier to read. Number 6 is to highlight all vocab words. Now vocab words are important. Obviously, they're usually going to end up on the test in some form, whether it be literally just having to know the definition or they're going to be integrated into questions. So knowing the vocab words and having them highlighted is very important. When you start adding information that isn't a vocab word or isn't the titles or subtitles, it can get kind of lengthy, and you want to break it up into smaller details and important pieces of information. You don't want to just start writing straight up and end up with a whole paragraph worth of information, because then you're just technically rewriting the textbook. You're taking notes because you want to be able to understand it better in your own terms, so break it up using bullet points or arrows or dashes or something so that they're little bits of information and not the whole thing. Number 8 is to add diagrams or charts or any sort of drawing that can help you understand the information better. Now, you don't want to go doodling all over the page just for fun, because that's not going to really help you with your notes. But if there's an important chart or something that's in the textbook or your teacher's discussing and you need to understand it, don't be afraid to draw it yourself into your notes. I'm a very visual person, so I always like to add the important charts and diagrams into my notes so that when I'm writing down the information, I can have the chart that corresponds with it. Number 9 is to box or circle or underline or whatever any important information that isn't quite a vocab word, but you still do think that you need to like add an emphasis around. Another thing with this is that I kind of like to break up the flow of my notes. I'm not really the type of person just to write straight out line for line down the page. I like to add little sections, so like I'll put a little blurb of information here, I'll draw an arrow and put it down here. So kind of like disrupt the flow of your notes, and it's going to help you kind of break the information into chunks. If you like writing straight out, go ahead, be my guest, but it just kind of helps me visualize it better. And number 10 is to don't stress too much about it. Note taking, the basis of it is just to get the information onto the page for you to reference later. It's not an art contest. You don't need to make your notes look perfect and stress about it. These are just simply tips to help you maybe understand them better or make note-taking a little bit more fun. But overall, just make sure that you're getting the information onto the page and are able to study it well. Alright, I think that's it for the video. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, if you find these tips helpful, definitely make sure to give this video a thumbs up and leave a comment below of any other school videos you would like me to make. I hope you all have a wonderful day or night wherever you are, and make sure that you stay tuned until the next video.